essential service, and that is a haircut. In this state, you can get a six-pack of beer, you can't get a haircut. There is a petition online, 7,000 people have signed it, to allow a real soft opening, one person at a barbershop at a time. Everybody wears protective gear. Have you looked into that? Have you thought about maybe loosening that up? Because we did not have the foresight that you did to shave our heads.
Jonathan, you could have been with me to help raise money for cancer research.
Maybe next year.
Unlike you, who is always expecting to be on TV every day, that was not what I was expecting was going to happen to me. I would say this. One of the questions we got asked yesterday was May 4th, right? Essential, non-essential. And we answered it by saying that we think the issue going forward is going to be less about the date and less about essential and non-essential, and more about what we would describe as the rules of the road for reopening. And I think those rules will be relatively uniform and comprehensive at a certain level, and then they're going to be defined a little more narrowly depending upon what kind of space or industry you're talking about. And certainly, close contact operations like that one would be one of the ones that would have to go through some sort of review to figure out if in fact you can create the kind of safety for people that would be required for both the person delivering the haircut and the person getting it. But I think the way people ought to start thinking about this is a little less about essential and non-essential and a little more about, what are the criteria that would make it possible for any business to open up. What's the context, right? The prerequisite. We've talked about a variety of different mechanisms that states have come up with and that the federal government has proposed with respect to how you get to the point where you believe you're on the other side of the curve. We need to be on the other side of the curve before we do any of this stuff. And then the question becomes, what are going to be the rules? How are they going to work? And we've started talking to a lot of folks in the business community about this. The lieutenant governor's had conversations. I have. Secretary Sutters has. Secretary Keneally has. And once again, this is a good example of where, because we have a lot of global operations here, companies that have been doing business in other parts of the world that are in a different place than Massachusetts is, have started talking about the ways they've gone about thinking about how they could do their work in some other place and how that might translate here. But I don't think the go forward is going to be an essential versus non-essential. It's going to be, these are the kinds of things people need to do to actually be able to start thinking about opening up. And maybe some people can do them and some people can't. But that's the way I think we're thinking about this, and I would urge others to think about it as well. Because it's not.
Would you look at that one, allowing one person in to the salon?
Well, I talked to first of all, we're not going to do that until we get over the hump on the surge, period, okay? That's, no one anywhere in the world, much less in the United States, has suggested that it's a good idea to get into the business of giving up on distancing and the stay-at-home advisories and all the rest until you get to the other side of the surge. So that's point number one. Point number two is there will be guidance, and in some cases probably pretty forceful guidance around what the rules should look like.